Well, hello everybody. Dusty Sage and the MiceChat crew here at the Disneyland Resort. We're actually at California Adventure starting this video today. You're going to see 2 parks if all goes well and hear all sorts of news about festivals wrapping up, construction picking up, and one very, very naked tourist, Mike.
Do we have to bring the naked tourist up?
Yes, we do, and you know what you did. We'll get to that later, folks. And keep your clothes on. We're about to go for a little adventure. Who wants to come along? Give us a thumbs up if you're ready to go on a trip through Disneyland and California Adventure. I'm turning this around. And we're right here in the Carthay Circle Hub area of Disney California Adventure. First stop. Carthay Circle has been behind scrims here for a while, Mike.
It has.
We don't know if this is anything important. I have a suspicion that it has to do with the 70th anniversary and some decor that they're planning for the facade of Carthay. We do know that it is part of the festival, so this will all be wrapped up before the middle of next month.
Yes.
The fountain is also working. Again, they have the fountain going top and bottom. It looks pretty good. And we're going to see the last vestiges.
Disneyland roses are blooming.
Well, these are not Disneyland roses. They are roses.
Oh, these are not the
Disneyland rose is more pink, but these are really pretty. These are the ones that they have used here in the Carthay Circle area for a long time. They're pretty, and I like that they're two-toned, but they're orange and yellow. At Disneyland, the Disneyland roses, pink and orangish.
That's right. Speaking of two-toned flowers, I saw something amazing today.
What did you see?
The cactuses over in Cars Land are blooming. I've been gone for a couple of weeks, so.
Wow.
But one of them has 3 different flowers on it.
Could you find it again if we went over there?
Yeah, I could.
All right, let's do that. But first, let's take a quick look and see what the wait times look like. 55 minutes for Goofy Sky School, 85 minutes for Radiator Springs. Just went down to 80 while we mentioned it.
It was 100 minutes earlier.
130 minutes for Guardians of the Galaxy. 130 minutes.
That
is wildly long for that ride. Soaring over California, and it's an hour. So it's busy, not insane, but it's very busy. And the reason for that is the festival wraps up this weekend. People have their tasting cards left to use up, Mike.
They better hurry up and use them.
That's right, because the value is gone once that festival is over. And I've always thought they should carry over the value from festival to festival because they're getting locals to come here and the cost is the same to them.
They were doing it for a while. Well, okay,
they
it wasn't
did during
festival
the
to
pandemic.
festival, but they were doing it. If you went to the Lunar New Year Festival last year, you could use the card from last year this year, but they wouldn't accept that anymore, though.
Now, earlier when we walked by, there was a long line here at Golden Dreams, but not right now. Beautiful waterfall, Grizzly.
On a cloudy day.
On a clear day, they say you can see forever.
Forever.
We were originally going to go here down the first pathway into Avengers Campus, but I think we're going to go into Cars Land, show everybody those flowers you were talking about, and we'll still make our way through Avengers Campus. There are a few things I wanted to try, but a lot of this stuff is just dairy, 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 and I can't have it. And when you talk to the cast members there, they don't really know, and it's gotten hard to know.
It's like dairy
what
and
you
lots
can
of
and can't
tahine.
I have a lot of weight to lose before this MiceChat cruise. On the 3rd, we've booked so many staterooms on the Disney Treasure, and off we go in the Caribbean on the beautiful Disney Treasure. It's got the Haunted Mansion bar.
It's amazing. But that trip's coming up quick.
Oh, wow. Yes, and I have a lot of weight to lose, or I'm not letting anyone see me in the hot tub.
I think that you would be just fine. Oh, speaking of some construction walls.
Yes. Oh, let's talk about that while we're here, right? This is the winery pavilion there, and you'll see a bunch of construction walls up right there through this whole front area. We think that the pass holder lounge up there is still open, but to get to it, you have to go around the long way.
Yeah, they're taking you up the stairs on the back side. while the wine bar here is the Trattoria. I can't even pronounce that.
Yep, Wine Country Trattoria.
Is getting worked on.
Yep, there's the sign about the Magic Key Terrace and the restrooms. So you can still dine here, but you can't go to the wine bar, that's closed, and then you have to go all the way around to get to the Magic Key Terrace up there.
We're cast members waiting for you on the other side over there too.
We don't know what they're doing.
No.
They're always doing some little project.
It's just surprising that they are doing that project.
Mike, on a
During
crowded
food and wine.
day, do you know there's a secret way into Cars Land?
There is.
I'm going to take you on a secret path. You guys ready? Is everybody ready to see the secret path?
Let's go see the
That's
secret path.
Natalie, by the way, Ando, Jeffrey, Caloricians. All right, here we go. Here we go. When I got here today, Mike and Natalie were sitting down in San Francisco, and I kept trying to text you to let you know where I was, and it kept changing my text from San Francisco to San Fran, Tokyo.
San Francisco. Good old autocorrect.
The bakery tour is a great place to go to get a free piece of bread. It's the only free thing you can get in the park. Ghirardelli has a dairy-free ice cream.
Oh.
They can make you a dairy-free root beer float. Here it is, secret path. Let me show you real quick here. That's the baby care center. And right here is a secret path that'll take you from San Francisco directly into Cars Land without having to go all the way out and around. It's also nice if it's crowded up there.
Yeah.
It's good to know your pathways around. And this is where you can come and get little snacks and things. And you're directly across from Tomater.
You know, for the years that I worked here, I don't think I ever wandered, like I've wandered so much of this park, this resort, I don't think I've ever wandered through that area.
That's what I'm all about. I think the things that make theme parks special are those little out-of-the-way spots.
Oh, definitely.
It's one of the things I absolutely loved about Epic Universe in Orlando is there's so many little neat getaway spots.
And those are I love the little getaway spots. Nice, quiet.
Little pathways with waterfalls and things. I love that. It's like in Critter Country, now Bayou Country. You like that waterfall at the exit of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, yeah,
It's a little getaway spot.
it is.
I see Lightning McQueen back here, Mike.
He is there.
He's one of the stars of Cars Land. And sure, the movie is all about him, but I think the real star is Mater.
Mater.
Tomater.
Tomater.
Tomato?
Tomato.
Ando says tomatoes? Mike, there's a million little Easter eggs and in jokes here in front of Flo's. Like all of the numbers on the gas pumps mean something. They're the birthdays of the kids of Imagineers and the dates that things opened. And I haven't even begun to figure out what they are.
We need to do some
But
research.
I imagine we're headed this direction to find your magic cactus. Mike and the Magic Cactus. That'll be the name of the children's book I write about you.
Who's going to illustrate it?
AI.
AI, got it. Now watch, we're going to get back here, and it's been cloudy long enough that the flowers are going to all have closed up, and I'm going to look like I lied to everybody.
So being a Midwestern boy who grew up in Kansas, and we had what we called little hen and chicken plants, and they were little cactuses about that big, and you'd put them in the ground in the summer, and then the little babies would sprout up around them, and then you could pull them out and plant them, and then they had another cactus.
Yeah.
And they look like this, only this one is as tall as me.
I think it's taller than me.
It is, gets bigger as these cactus grow up, and the bloom, some of those blooms I took a picture of last week are already gone.
Mm-hmm.
So a cactus bloom is very fragile and doesn't last long, but look at the bright pinks.
Bright pinks, yep.
And yellow back there, and those prickly pears have turned purple on top. When you prick a paw on the big paw, take a look at them fancy ants and look at the orange in this beautiful plant. This is really a gorgeous garden. The red here.
I love desert flowers.
I recently moved to the desert, and I always thought the desert was just a big, dead, sandy place. And it's pretty sandy and hot, but so beautiful, intensely beautiful. And here we see all the different colors. You have pink and orange and yellow and all the different types of plants that they have here. Well, where's your plant, Mike?
So right here.
Oh my gosh.
There's a couple that are yellow.
Look at that.
And there's
We're
the
gonna
orange.
zoom in.
And then there's a couple of pink ones that aren't quite bloomed, but you can see where some of them have already bloomed and gone away. They're turning into the prickly pears and the new sprouts.
Look how gorgeous that is. See, cactus can be so beautiful. Well, we hope you all have enjoyed your lesson on cactus. Have a great night, everybody. No, just kidding.
You know, a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago, I was out here taking pictures of hummingbirds and the flowers of these other cactuses on the other side.
We're at Flo's. I had lunch there last week. We had Eric with us last week, little Eric Lowe. And he had never been to Flo's before. That was very exciting for him.
What did you guys have for lunch?
Well, I don't even remember, but we sat in the big room there with the glamour girls or whatever they call them and looked out the window at the cars going by. It really is one of the magical spots in this park.
It is.
I remember John Lasseter, back when he was still with the company, talking about that specific room in that restaurant. And before the land had even opened, and he said, my worry is nobody ever is going to sit down to eat and they're never going to get up and leave. We're going to have to find more places to seat people. Do you ever ride these little rides in the land? The Tomaters spin over there, and then the Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters over here?
Well, I've ridden this one plenty of times. In fact, I helped put it together. So.
Oh, and did you work on the one before it, the flying tires one?
No, it was already gone.
Mike, I see something missing for the first time in years.
The Horn of Plenty.
The cornucopia.
Cornucopia
is gone.
It is.
Usually right there, they brought it out for Thanksgiving and Christmas one year, and then it just never went away.
No.
And so it was never really meant to be here forever. I don't know if we'll ever see it again. It may have finally rotted away out here.
Maybe. I mean, it was seasonal for a while, and then, yeah, one year it just never went away.
And for those of you who have not been here in a while, they did some major refurbishment over here at the Cozy Cones. We showed you the new register area. It's just underneath the awning there at the Cozy Cone Motel check-in. That is where you now order, or you can mobile order, and then you pick up at the cones. And this is the new seating area right here, Red's Community Garden. And I do like this a lot, Mike. Although that all used to be a big old garden, it was also not public space. They managed to create a beautiful little spot with shade, plenty of plants, and a place to sit.
They did good because, I mean, it was just like what this is on the side here, the gravel.
It was unused. It was pretty.
Yeah, it was.
But you walk right by it and don't really pay attention. I think I would much rather have a nice area like this with the trees.
Much more efficient use of space for shade.
For sure.
It's more flowers blooming.
It's that time of year, Mike. Everything's in bloom.
It is. But I just have to point them out because I love them because they're so pretty.
Well, and this is Easter time now, so we're going to see even more Easter blooms when we get over to Disneyland. They really do a great job over there.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite as many gardens at California Adventure. What I found shocking is over at Walt Disney World, because they have nice weather year-round too, but they don't plant as many flower gardens. They plant mostly shrubs and things that are green all year round, but not necessarily colorful. Now, Epcot is the one big exception. They do their beautiful Flower and Garden Festival, which is going on right now. Love that festival. I wish that we had a Flower and Garden Festival here at California Adventure. They did Flower and Garden in the spring, and then they did Food and Wine in the fall, followed by Festival of Holidays. I'd really like that.
Yeah. I need to go back for one of the garden festivals.
Now, we are upon another construction spot. In fact, we walked right by it and didn't really see anything, but behind this facade This Facade is a major project to build a new e-ticket attraction. So there's an Avengers-style ride here that looks a lot like the Spider-Man ride from Orlando at Islands of Adventure, that kind of ride system. It looks like, so vehicles that seat a lot of guests that can spin around, and then you'll be wearing probably 3D glasses, and there are a lot of screens. So it's that kind of Universal style ride, but they're also building a ride that uses a KUKA arm, which is like an automotive assembly robot with seats on it, and it'll, you know, flip you around.
Which is kind of almost similar to the Harry Potter ride.
It is, only the Harry Potter ride's on a track and takes you through the ride.
Right.
You are on a track for a short period of time on this new ride, but just your seat. And then you get to the spot where you're going to do your simulation, and then the arm picks up your seat and throws you around, but not throughout the ride. So you're not really moving anywhere other than load and unload. It's interesting.
Interesting. Do you think these red card trolley tracks are going to remain here?
I don't think so. I have a feeling they'll pull them out because they don't belong really in this land anymore.
No.
Just on the other side of this track there used to be the trolley barn. It's long gone. They turn it out.
They've really started to dig
into
this
this
project.
It's all just dirt back there, piles of dirt. And these tracks now no longer make any sense because there is no red car trolley.
At least through here,
Avengers
right?
Campus. I'm probably, because it's a tripping hazard, they either need to fill them in or pull them out, because if you've got a stroller or a wheelchair, it is a hazard. It was maybe worth it for the attraction. They're doing the Guardians of the Galaxy dance-off. This show's interesting because they change it up from time to time and add different characters and things.
You know what it needs?
Baby Groot.
Baby Groot.
It's a Baby Groot. They did a test with Baby Groot inside of the Disney Junior, and we'll see what happened to Disney Junior. But it was just a short-term test by Imagineering to see how the little animatronic Baby Groot worked, and it was assumed it would end up in the Guardians of the Galaxy dance-off. In fact, they had hinted that it would. It never did.
Well, didn't they bring those other small droids out a short time before they brought them out? Like
they did. In fact, I was there at Imagineering. They had me go over to Imagineering Research and Development, and they showed me a lot of the things that they were working on, including those little guys. And then just a few weeks later, they had them in the land. Big empty theater, folks. Hyperion Theater.
So sad.
Empty sign because nothing going on of importance there. They have no shows in the works that we are aware of.
They need to fix that.
Same thing over the Fantasyland Theater. Absolutely unacceptable that the Disneyland Resort continues to charge what they charge and has no big shows. Now, they will be bringing back Paint the Night and the Wondrous Journeys, and they'll have a daytime cavalcade. Here, they've got the Pixar Parade coming back, the one they debuted last summer, and they have a new World of Color. So there is some entertainment coming, but
it needs to be new.
Those big shows that happen all the time, all day long, that eat up a lot of guests, those are important.
Oh, I mean, that theater is huge. Both this theater and the Fantasyland Theater have lots of seating.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't even matter if the show is great. You just need to give guests a place to go, get out of the sun, let the kids sit down and rest for 20 minutes. Natalie, cast member, wants to know about a little friend she brought with her. We'll show you her friend, Murray.
Murray.
The murder beaver. Murray's very important.
He is.
To the MiceChat community because, of course, Murray the murder beaver is the beaver from the Mark Twain. You ride around the back there of the river, and there's the beaver trying to kill everyone on the train tracks. Natalie loved him so much that she bought a stuffed animal that looks a little bit like Murray, and she knitted Mickey ears for him and crocheted a MiceChat medal around his neck.
And she did an amazing job.
Filler Magic is an attraction. I'm ready to have it leave. It was never built for this theater. It feels shoehorned in there. Oh, it's, not great.
No.
Florida, you have the screen that opens up
Yeah,
wider
right.
and wider. Here, there's the single.
The little tiny
So
screen.
it starts out like this big, like you're looking at a phone.
All right, Mike, it is real now. Disney Junior.
It is.
It is. This version of it is done, but coming back, a different show.
Yep.
Mickey and pals again. I think there's a lot about that show they haven't told us yet. We do think that is where Blue's Clues will be, but we're not sure. Natalie, we're going
Bluey.
by Gone Hollywood, which is one of their showcase shops where new stuff and seasonal stuff shows up. So give us an idea. In this park, is there any iconic, amazing new merchandise that we need to be on the lookout for? Otherwise, we'll touch base with you again on merch when we get to Disneyland.
I would say wait until Disneyland off the top of my head. Although, wait, yes. You know, the bulk of the new merchandise that's noteworthy is at Downtown Disney.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing I really wanted, and I looked at the Starbucks here and I didn't see it. There's a new Starbucks mug.
Yes.
And I have to have it. It's really cute Disneyland, iconic things and characters
Yes, I
on
saw
it.
it. It's lovely.
They even have a version for Disney World, I believe.
They do.
Yeah, so I like the Starbucks merchandise.
Yes, I can see you liking that. Yes.
Well, we're glad you're here with us. You're not usually here this late.
No, I'm not making a special trip just for you, Dusty.
Oh, I'm turning red. You know what else? Look, I spotted an egg.
Oh, look at
Dusty
that.
laid an egg.
Aw,
Here we
just
go.
like you.
So we'll wait and see what happens over here, but the concept art they've showed so far, which is just of one scene really, is of Mickey and pals. And then immediately followed by another construction wall, Mike.
Yep.
And of course we are walking
Yes.
along more trolley tracks, and again here, I would say maybe you could leave the tracks in through Hollywood
I was
because
gonna say,
they
it
make
makes sense here.
thematically, but shouldn't they fill them in with something? Some resin or something just to keep them from being a tripping hazard.
Something, I would think.
Be a quick and easy way for them to solve that problem.
Or, I mean, if they got creative, they could rip these out and like use bricks or something to simulate
that.
tracks.
But that's a lot of money, right? Rip the bricks
Oh,
out.
I'm sure.
Rather than pull it out and spend all that money, just fill it in with
Because
something.
these bricks aren't just laid in like, around Fantasyland and stuff where there's sand and grout. These are hard laid in because this was an attraction, and that is an attraction outline.
Correct, but it's also part of the parade route.
Right.
And a tripping hazard even for the cast members who are dancing in the parades, and they really have to be careful.
Right.
So here we are back at the Carthay Circle Fountain where we started. We're about 23 minutes into this video. We still have time to go over to Disneyland.
Ooh, let's go.
And let's do it. I have a feeling that today we may end up going into extra innings.
Oh, I think.
It could end up being
We
a
could
little
do
bit
that.
longer of a video today. We'll see.
Thumbs up if you want a longer video.
Ando says, who knew that Dusty laid goofy eggs? Well, I think there were some indications. We're going by Elias and Company. The refurbishment is all finished up here on Buena Vista Street. That one went on forever and ever and
It
ever.
did. It was an extensive one because they pulled off all the covers for the speakers and,
Yep.
and they pulled off all the lettering.
All this ornamentation was really reworked. So it was a big refurbishment, expensive. We complain a lot about Disney maintenance and the rides breaking down all the time, but when they do maintenance on a ride or a building, they do spend a lot of money and time and effort on it.
Yeah,
I think our bigger issue is the lack of preventative maintenance on things like rides and light bulbs and things that burn out.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many various reasons for that, none of which I would say are necessarily excusable.
Mike, I don't know if you got a chance to read the Monday update from last week because you were out of town.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of the old trolleys permanently parked here. They've had
Yes.
the mechanism that lets it move removed from it, so it is
Yep.
actually a static prop now where you can take a picture. Its sister is now at Garner Holt Productions.
I saw that.
Yep,
And I think
it's
that is
part
a
of their
great
foundation
place.
for kids to get kids involved in STEAM and STEM at school and inspire them to learn to make things.
So my question from that then is, since it is something related to STEM, did they leave any of the mechanism in that trolley for these kids to learn to work on?
They did not.
That's too bad.
They did not. So it was completely cleaned out, just like this one before it was sent to them. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
I see everybody leaving through the new gates there. We have seen the new gates in use. They're using, you scan it yourself over at the monorail station. There was a day that I scanned my ticket here at Disneyland gates as well, and then by the end of the day, cast members were scanning for everyone. They're trying to still get their footing on making it fast enough. And guests, every guest tends to say, but where do I scan? What do I do? So it's not quite as fast as they would like. It's not faster for the cast member just to use their iPhone and just scan your ticket for right now.
Yeah, I did notice this morning as I walked by the monorail station that they were scanning this morning. The cast members were scanning.
I think what they will probably end up doing is putting some signage on these things that show you where you're supposed to scan.
I think thematically that would be, they can make it look good.
I mean, but whether or not it looks good, I think guests just don't know where to scan. It's not clear where the scanner is, and there's nothing that says scan here, and then in a second one that says look here.
Right.
So they want you to scan your ticket and then look at the little camera so that it can do the facial recognition.
I'm going to get your ticket ready here.
All right. There's a security guard and dog checking the trash cans for Lord only knows what.
Sure seems interested.
Yes. Should we go this way, Mike? Hello. We're being called. We're being called over.
Hello.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello.
Thank you. Woo, in I go.
Thank you so much.
There's a monorail going by. That's what that noise was. Australians and Canadians, but not as many as last year. I think that our changes to tariffs and all sorts of things have dissuaded some tourists from visiting. We're down about 10% here in Anaheim right now from what it was last year.
That's a lot.
In the number of visits, and some airlines have canceled flights to the U.S. entirely because the demand isn't there. So it's going to hurt the local economy here a lot. We do work with a lot of hotels in the area, and all of them are suffering the lack of their normal foreign tourists.
And you know, it's not just these hotels. I mean, it's not just exclusive here to Disneyland, because we've got other events happening.
Yeah. Coachella's happening right now. I live out in the desert. It's a tourist economy. It's the season, the end of season, and down significantly. They have big signs up in the airports welcoming our Canadian visitors and letting them know we love them because they're worried about visiting the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's going to hurt Disneyland. I think it'll hurt Disney World more than Disneyland because there's only one thing that Disneyland has to do to fill up.
Right.
Discount.
Just discount.
You can bring the electrical parade out of retirement. You can lower prices and boom, the park is full. So they know what to do to fill the park up. It doesn't necessarily help the local hotels though, because if you live in LA, you just drive home at the end of the night. You don't stay in the hotel.
Right. And Disneyland is known as more of a locals park. But I've been seeing other sales, like Costco's got one that's starting up too.
That's right. Some new tickets at Costco. All the other parks are also discounting. Universal was doing a buy 2 days, get one free. Now they're buy 1 day, get one free.
I would not be surprised if we saw some more like what we saw years ago, buy a day, get the year free.
At Knott's Berry Farm or a place like that if they need it. I don't think we'll see that happen at Universal or Disneyland. But Disneyland will do some things. They do have a special ticket and packages coming up for the 70th anniversary. You can save 20 to 25%, even more, for being a pass holder or a local or having Disney Vacation Club. You know, like there's a lot of discounts out there right now. So definitely look. If you're trying to traverse the best deal, get in contact with MiceChat's travel partners at Getaway Today. Always let them know that you were referred by MiceChat, because oftentimes there are even special deals just for being a MiceChat reader, because we're their premium partner. You can also find a link to them on every single page of the site. So now, Natalie, back to our Natalie, because we're in the shopping mecca of Disneyland.
Grab the mic. Hi.
And we've got over here Fortuosity Shop, which has some of the higher end items. Over here we have Disney Clothiers.
Yes.
What are you hearing, seeing about what's at Disneyland and in downtown Disney?
And in downtown,
Oh, we're gonna get hit by a car.
Horseless carriage, yes.
I'm glad that Mike's grabbed me because there was no way I would survive that.
Yes.
I'm made out of balsa wood. I just crumble.
Car always wins, yes. Well, I would note, especially in downtown Disney, there are several new, well, hello there, bubbles. A noteworthy release that no one seems to be talking about is there's a character from Inside Out 2, Pouchy, and there is literally a Pouchy fanny pack, and he is a fanny pack, an anthropomorphic fanny pack. You can get that fanny pack now at Storyland Boutique.
So Storyland Boutique is the new shop where the dress shop was temporarily located
That's
to.
correct, and
that
was
was the original Wonderground.
The original Wonderground.
And Wonderground has moved, so there's still a Wonderground, but there is no dress shop anymore.
Yes, goodbye dress
And
shop.
Disneyland Boutique, Disneylander Boutique, or what are they calling it?
D-Lander.
No, not that one.
Oh.
Well, there's D-Lander,
Yeah.
and then there's the Storybook Land Boutique.
Yeah.
Those two shops are now carrying the dresses and the higher end things, but that Storylander shop has
It has Japanese stuff as well. And
right now,
Yeah.
and it's made to quarterly change up and be a whole different theme.
yes, seasonal items, I believe, is how you would phrase it.
I think it's really cool.
I love that. I love it. Keeps people who keep their eye on our toes, and I think that's really fun. It's like what you see next.
So you wrote an article not that long ago about some plush from Tokyo and China making its way to the U.S.
Yes.
And Natalie, the traffic on that article was massive because apparently there's a huge demand for Japanese merchandise in the U.S.
Yes, I am aware of this. Yes, and I'm one of those people who give me all the Japanese and Chinese merchandise. Give it to me. I will take it.
And I think that people here really want something different. For the longest time, we've been getting just iterations on Spirit jerseys and Loungefly and things like that. And it seems to me like people want a little bit more. Let's walk and talk.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. And you know, another thing that you see with the Asia markets is more obscure characters getting their chance in the limelight. Which you don't really see as often. Like, for example, Lucifer, a big character in Japan, for example.
Lucifer's from
Cinderella. He's the
Cinderella.
mischievous cat. Thank you. He's the mischievous cat.
And you know what else they absolutely love there? We gave a stab at it here, and it just didn't work. And the biggest thing, bigger than Mickey Mouse, Duffy.
Duffy and Shelley May and all their friends. Yes,
And Duffy was created by Disneyland Merchandise as Mickey's teddy bear.
Right.
And they thought he would be really popular, and he wasn't.
No, and
And
I'm
he
so
went
sad.
away, but they sent the leftover merchandise to Tokyo just to get rid of it, and it was a sensation.
Yes.
And now when you go to Tokyo, Hong Kong Disneyland, Shanghai Disneyland, they have Duffy stores, Duffy shops, Duffy celebrations.
And they're creating new characters still.
Yes, it's
The latest
wild.
one was, oh goodness gracious, what was the fox, whose name is on the tip of my tongue, and I'm so embarrassed because I actually have her.
Well, somebody is sure to know on this video, and they'll put it in the comments. But my point on all of this is Duffy is finally making its way, now that it's become famous overseas, Duffy's making his way back to the U.S., and we're going to see Duffy during the 70th anniversary and likely thereafter if he's successful.
And I could not be happier about that.
Natalie and her merchandise.
What?
You must be broke.
Well, I mean, yes, and
Let's take a quick look
God
at
forbid a
the...
girl have hobbies.
We're going to take a look at the wait times here real quick to see what it's like at Disneyland. We took a look at California Adventure about a half an hour ago.
These wait times are not anywhere near as bad, at least on this side of the board.
Less crowded here than at California Adventure. A little over an hour for Rise of the Resistance is not horrible.
No, especially for an
45
attraction
minutes
that's
for
like 100
Tiana, but
something
it's a
minutes.
cool day. It's probably around 62 to 64 degrees right now. It's a little too cold for Tiana's.
Yeah.
45 minutes for Big Thunder. 65 minutes for Hyperspace, but that's a special attraction for Season of the Force.
It's about average, I think.
45 minutes for Smuggler's Run. Pirates is 20. 45 Roger Rabbit, which has always got a long wait these days. 55 minutes for Chippendale's Gadget Coaster, which makes it one of the longest waits in the park for one of the shortest rides.
Right.
Wild that people wait for that thing. But, you know, if you've got a kid that they want to ride a roller coaster, it might be the only thing they can ride.
Right. And you got to remember, too, that there's only one ride vehicle on that track at a time. That's one of the very few attractions here that actually has one ride vehicle.
Two important things on shows there. Mickey's Mix Magic, and they're very clear to say projections, so there's
Yep.
no fireworks tonight at 9:30. And at 8:30, they're showing one showtime for Shadows of Memory, a Skywalker saga, which is the projection show on the petrified forest around Galaxy's Edge.
I enjoy the show.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I really like about it, Mike? At the beginning of it, they show a lush green forest with waterfalls.
Don't you wish that that's what Galaxy's Edge looked like?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Imagineers are saying, if they had just given us a budget,
Oh,
we could
no.
have built this for you.
Yes, exactly.
But someday, it's not out of the question. Look at what they did to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. They took a barren-looking splash mountain and turned it into a lush green bayou covered in flowers and things. Could easily do
It was
that.
easy.
Galaxy's Edge, or at least part of it. Beautiful pink trumpet flower trees around the hub. The Main Street vehicles are going. It's been a cloudy day, like the threat of rain all day without any rain.
It rained this morning early.
Here,
At least down the street. I don't know if it reached quite here to Disneyland, but just down the street, like a couple of miles it did.
look at this. These are the spring flowers that I was referencing all
Ooh,
throughout
beautiful.
the hub area. Beautiful mounds of color and spring flowers, and you see the leaves of the pink flower petals have fallen on the hedges. It feels like, it smells like spring.
It does.
Wonderful.
So I noticed something working, which I'm kind of surprised about.
Something working where?
Working.
Oh, Mike, we have to take a look. That is, people aren't going to believe you.
It's a miracle.
Now, I want to know, how many of you think you know what Mike is referencing when he says there's something working? What could it be? Let us know. I won't turn the camera for a minute or two until you figure it out. I see no correct answers yet. But Mike, I knew instantly when you said something is working, it would be this sign, the Jolly Holiday sign. A couple of things about this, Mike.
Yes.
They have restored the penguin to the top. They have
They have.
removed that plastic sheet that was in front of
Thankfully.
the letters, even though the letters were still lit up from behind. And the L is now the correct color. So they've done some work.
I think they discovered that with that weird plastic inlay in the letters, that when the L didn't work right, it looked even worse.
It looked even worse.
Yeah.
But they did that big refurbishment here at Jolly Holiday on the facade and even in the interior, so it was closed completely.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's all reopened and looking good. I like that.
Looks great.
Let's see how long it lasts. We have been here before where Mike has said it's all working, and then by the time the live ended, it was broken again. It seems to be every time it rains, it short circuits something and the colors change.
Like almost as soon as the humidity in the evening comes up.
But part of the problem with that, Mike, is if the colors are changing, it means those are not incandescent bulbs like the rest of Main Street.
Oh no, they're LED.
That's an LED.
They are certainly.
And which means it's all computerized and chips and things. And
Now from here, do you see what I see?
I see construction walls for the men's restroom.
Uh-huh.
I see all of the tiki torches actually working, except one. It's not.
Uh-oh. Get my lighter out and light it.
What else are you seeing? Oh, I see that wooden box on the other side of the construction wall there.
Yep.
You all will know because we talk about it nonstop. There was a big flood here, a broken pipe in Adventureland. They dug it all up. Unfortunately, it meant they had to rip out the waterfall that was hiding the men's restroom, and they put up this wooden wall that's been here for 2 years.
Completely ugly, completely.
But there's a big giant box there now, which looks like they might be building the framework for a new waterfall.
I sure hope so.
That is probably, that box is for a maintenance closet that will be built on the inside of the rock work, so that custodial has a place to keep their mops and
It's often what they do.
supplies.
Yep.
And then they'll build the wall up around it. That's my guesstimate.
Okay, now I feel like I need to get one of those sourdough bread bowls with clam chowder. 'Cause I saw a couple people walking by.
You
that
are
I'm
in
like,
Adventureland. Why would you want chowder?
People are walking through with it.
It's an adventure. I mean, if you get the chowder, I mean, it's an adventure. You never know what's going to happen.
It might become an adventure.
Become an adventure. My mother always used to say you don't get sushi from a gas station, and I kind of have always felt that way about seafood in general at a theme park.
Yeah.
I do make some exceptions. I love the salmon at Plaza Inn, but it's sort of a real restaurant.
Right.
But for the most part, if it's a food stand like at one of the festivals and they have ceviche
No.
sitting out in the sun,
Oh no.
I don't do it.
No.
I
You're
avoid-
taking your life into your own hands
I
at
avoid
that
that.
point.
I made the mistake at Knott's Berry Farm a couple of years ago. They had their summer fest, and one of their outdoor booths had a shrimp something or another, and I got it.
Oh, no.
And I got so sick afterwards.
Oh. Now I have had the fish and chips at the Stage Door Cafe before, and I survived.
Less fried, so I think it killed
It's
all the
fried.
pathogens.
Right.
Indy is closed for refurbishment. This is one that we're watching because the last time they did a refurbishment, they brought back almost all the broken effects.
They did.
That everything was broken at that point.
Yep.
The bridge and the snake and the boulder and the doors, everything was broken. Everything came back with some new effects.
Yep.
Except one thing. The doors at the beginning. So you always go
Right.
through the same door, but once you go through, there were still the different programs of what could happen. But we're wondering if they found a way to fix that, or if
I hope
there's
so.
another special effect that might be coming. You see that the water wheel is now consistently working with the water being lifted up to the upper levels of the treehouse. For months and months and months, that had been touch and go or not working at all, but now it seems to be working every time we're here.
Glad to see it working again.
The magnolias here that they planted in Pirates when those big trees had to be removed
Yeah.
are starting to really grow up now. You can easily walk underneath them.
Growing a little bit quicker.
Yeah, they definitely are. You see what the crowd looks like. A little bit of a switchback on the bridge, but it's not going too far into the land, although there was a switchback set up. So
They're prepared.
earlier today it might have been a little more impacted over here. And we're headed to where you had your little incident last weekend, Mike.
My incident.
I mean, the incident that you were going to talk to us about, because I think you'll remember that a year or so ago, a man stripped down naked at It's a Small World and started running through the ride, and
He wanted to be a part of the attraction.
security grabbed him and they threw a blanket over him, and then they paraded him down the parade route.
Which I don't know.
Instead of just
Yeah.
taking him out a side gate. Well, Mike, something very similar happened last weekend.
It did.
A guest stripped down naked and started running through New Orleans Square here and climbed up on this
Climbed.
lattice work right here.
Yes.
So got right up here onto the sign and onto this metal lattice work around the seating area here and climbed through the area. Cast members set up a barricade. They started turning guests around, trying to keep them out of the area. For a while, they evacuated this part of the land as they tried to get the chaotic scene under control.
Yes.
And surprise, surprise, they think that it had something to do with drugs, and he was
Oh.
Canadian.
What?
Yeah. Maybe he was just so upset by the high prices that he couldn't afford to keep his clothes on anymore. I don't know.
Maybe he lost his clothes in a game in Star Wars
In a
Land?
game of chance. And it gone horribly awry. I don't know why I'm walking the wall. Like, they're finding ways to cover up
Oh, yeah.
this wall.
Are those carnations?
No, let's get closer. I don't think they're carnations. That's
Maybe not.
no, but there's some
Nope.
sort of maybe a zinnia or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody will know.
These are pretty.
Very pretty plants in here. A little basic. Yeah, this is off-the-shelf garden decor here, but it fits. It looks fine.
I was
Just
just saying.
not the magnolia fountain. But
Yeah.
sadly, you know, it's gone from this area, but it's still here. It's just been moved into the forecourt of the Haunted Mansion, where it's now just a planter.
I am so disappointed that it is not working.
Here's what really disappoints me at spring. We've looked at all the pretty, pretty flowers. One of the largest flower beds in the park is right here,
It's got weeds in it.
and it's just ugly. They put some little dabs of grass and some little snippets of something
Those are like-
there.
Those look like weeds to
They
me.
look
I
like
don't
weeds
know.
right now. They aren't,
Oh, okay.
but I think they expected that by now all of this Japanese
spread
grass
out.
would have grown up, and it hasn't. Maybe when things warm up, it'll look a little better. They
Maybe.
claim they did it so that the roots of the tree wouldn't have to compete with the flowers, and that once the trees get established, they'll be able to do more. I just find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
It'd be easy enough to water that tree so that both the tree and the flowers would have enough water. Haunted Mansion is busy, but not crazy. It's only 25-minute wait.
It's not bad at all, is it?
For years, it was a 13-minute wait all the time, and then they've started adding new things to the mansion.
Lightning Lane.
And taking it down half the year for the holiday version, and it's really swelled the demand for the ride. That, and they added Lightning Lane, like you said. That's the unkindest cut of all.
I feel like there are certain rides, particularly like Pirates of the Caribbean, Ariel's Undersea Adventure, this one, there are certain rides that have enough of a flow through that you really shouldn't need Lightning Lane.
They don't need Lightning Lane, and adding it just messes things up.
It
They
slows
did the
it
same
down.
thing at Epcot. Real quick, I want to answer Amber's question. She wanted to know if the New Orleans train station still plays the telegraph sound. It does.
Yes.
So if you're on the train and you're stopped there for any length of time, you'll hear the telegraph. And apparently it's telegraphing out Walt's opening day speech.
Yes, that's what I've heard too.
Yes. So over at Epcot, they added Lightning Lane to Spaceship Earth and Journey into Imagination, attractions that you used to be able to just ride without waiting,
But
and now
Spaceship
have
Earth,
long, long waits because
It's
of
a continuous
Lightning Lane.
motion.
Yep. That's why I think Pirates of the Caribbean, Small World, Haunted Mansion, these rides should not have Lightning Lane. Let people enjoy something. Not every last thing needs to be monetized within an inch
Right.
of our lives. Right,
Natalie agrees.
What does Murray the Murder Beaver say?
He says he's hungry.
Murray's hungry. And we're getting very close to the barbecue, and we know that a murder beaver likes barbecue.
Looks like almost all the grass on top of that roof is
It
now.
was blooming just a week ago, and now it's mostly dead on the backside. There are even sprinkler heads there. You see the sprinkler heads
Yeah.
on the roof?
Oh yeah.
Does your roof have sprinklers on it?
No.
Not a bad idea in fire season to have sprinklers on
Right?
the roof. But in this case, doesn't seem to be helping. I think they should put the ferns back.
I think so.
That would fit just fine in a bayou, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I think we need to start a change.org petition to bring back the ferns.
We'll call it Ferngate.
Ferngate. Fernwood tonight. What about on the front? No, it's dead
It
in the
looks
front
horrible.
too.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder if somebody accidentally turned off the sprinklers and that's what happened. That looks terrible.
Yeah, that looks bad.
35-minute wait for Tiana.
Not terrible.
Let's do something we don't ever do.
Well,
Let's go up and through and the back way. We were doing secret paths today.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a secret path. I'm glad these guys survived all the changes. The carved
I love the
hungry
carving
bear
art.
bears and animals. Murray's friend right here, Natalie. He's also hungry. Here, we'll get this picture of Murray, who just told us he was hungry, with another bear. Now Mike's even going to take it, and I'll zoom out so you see the meta on this is Mike taking a picture of Natalie holding up a beaver to another beaver who says he's hungry. Very hungry beavers. It does look very inviting, Tiana's does, very green. So there's a mix of real and fake here. There are a couple of real trees. See the train going through right there, folks. But some real grass, some real trees, and then a bunch of fake stuff up above. So a lot more fake foliage here than they had before. And then down in the queue, some real magnolia trees, and then fake flowers inside the little cage over there in the children's garden. So a mix. Looks fine right now. Of course, it'll start to bleach out in the sun over the years. Eventually, it'll look awful.
Hopefully, they're using some of that same painting technology, like what they use with Finding Nemo. I guess the glass kind of painting.
Well, that never worked apparently. So
Oh, well.
they embedded colored glass into the paint at the submarine voyage, and then quickly found out that everything between the glass still bleaches and it doesn't quite work. You're in the chlorine, you eventually need to refurbish it, which
Oh, gosh.
they do.
Chlorine will destroy anything.
Look at this little bear that's on top of the trash can.
Oh, that's...
See, it's his food scraps. I've
And
never
it's
seen
new.
him before.
Well, now they've started doing something different recently.
To get people to notice where the food scraps go.
Well, today...
And they go here into the fruits, desserts, meat, and food scraps bin. So we've got a trash can, a food scraps, and then a mixed recycling.
Natalie and I were having lunch at the Galactic Grill earlier, and with my meal, they gave me some weird scoop thing on my plate, and it said, put your food in here to dump it into the scraps bin.
What?
Yeah.
So, and was it meant to be thrown away?
No. You scoop your food out of the bowl or whatever it's on, you put it into the scraps bin, and then you put the scoop on a little tray rack next to the trash can so they can go wash it and it can be reused.
Yeah. That is weird, because
Yeah.
if it has to be washed, then it's using water.
Right.
All right.
And I
don't
mean,
understand.
it-
and here's the little
clean,
pathway back
but-
down. So we just took a little side path. It's a good way to go if you need a glass of water or you need some condiments. You just need a little taste of barbecue sauce. I can just see
don't
Mike
pour-
now with a cup filled with barbecue sauce and a straw.
Straw, just don't dump it in your water.
Mike, does it feel Star Warsy to you yet?
It's getting there.
Is it? You starting to get
I'm
that
starting
little
to,
Star Wars vibe?
I'm starting to hear some sounds, maybe. But
The ambient sound of flutes, and of course, when I hear wind instruments, I immediately think Star Wars. No housing John Williams music yet. But at night, tonight, when they do the projection show on the mountains around the Millennium Falcon, you will hear that amazing John Williams music.
oh yeah,
And you will see characters from throughout the Skywalker saga. That is exactly what I think the guests want. Crowds love that show.
yes.
Because it delivers to them what they expect to find in Galaxy's Edge.
So they mention Vader in the projection show, right?
Yes.
So when do you think we're going to see Vader in the land?
I don't know. Hopefully soon. Of course, the whole point of that show is it's just a history. And
That is true.
The storyteller is long since dead, and he has put his stories into his droid, the Bard, and the robot tells the stories. And so
Yes.
they happened a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
So that puts the timeline well
But
beyond.
still, there's no reason why a theme park land can't be whatever it wants. And at Epic
Right.
Universe, for example, in Wizarding World of Harry Potter, in the France section, it's really from the Fantastic Beasts storyline, but to make Harry Potter part of it, you go into the Ministry of Magic and there's a time turner and you end up back in time or forward or whatever it is, and you see Harry Potter. But I didn't even care if there was a time turner or not. I'm in a Wizarding World land and I saw Harry Potter and I was happy.
That's all that you need.
Exactly, I'm in a theme park land. Suspend disbelief and enjoy yourself. And that is what people want. So instead of forcing me to believe that this is a specific moment in time, just let it be Star Wars land. And
Why not?
And let us have all of our Star Wars stories and characters right next to each other.
Why not?
Exactly. This is the only land at Disneyland that forces us to do that.
It is.
Yep.
I had
In
to
fact,
think
in
about that for a
Tomorrowland
moment.
right now, we have Star Wars
Yeah.
next to Buzz Lightyear,
Yep.
and it's just fine.
Which is weird because
Nobody complains that those two things are out of sync with each other.
well, especially considering that Star Wars is its own land, but it's still spread out in two different places.
Yes, it's
In a different land.
Right now, 2 Star Wars attractions in Tomorrowland, plus a Darth Vader meet and greet.
Yes. Yep.
And here you have 2 Star Wars themed rides and several different character, not really meet and greets, they just wander
They wander,
around.
yeah. But they're also pretty good about stopping and greeting people. I know the Luke Skywalker He seems like he's especially attentive, where greeting the kids and stuff.
Yeah,
the
he doesn't
younglings.
necessarily look like Luke, but he's good
No,
with people.
he is.
At the Star Wars Nights, the after hours party that is not sold out, they're only sold out one night, May the 4th.
Still, which is
But
funny.
all the other nights are available, so if you want to go, get a ticket. I really think they should offer a discount, like buy a ticket to this event and Pride Night, and you get a discount of 20% or something. Get people to go to these events.
Or even make a deal where, buy a ticket to this event and you get a certain percentage off of a full day ticket.
Yes, something. But in any case, at that event they had Han Solo and Leia.
Queen
And
Amidala.
they did not look like themselves either. So
No.
whatever they're doing right now with casting, they're not trying very hard. Because I will say in the past, they have been able to get really great princesses.
So I have to
The
wonder
princesses
then,
are usually spot on. They've been great with Jack Sparrow.
they have.
So why are they having so much trouble with Luke, Leia, and Han?
Do you think-
They have, what's her name from the no, she was great, by the way. I loved Agatha at Halloween. She was wonderful. Rey.
Oh, yeah.
They have like 5 or 6 different people playing Rey, and they're all great. Instantly
Yeah.
it's Rey.
Right. I kind of wonder if some of these characters, are they having trouble casting them because of some of the contracts or some of the cuts in entertainment? Are they
don't-
having trouble getting people to come
I
back?
think they're just looking for a pulse.
You got it.
What are your qualifications to be Luke Skywalker? Well,
I can breathe. Yeah.
I do exist.
Now I want to see somebody walking along this little bridge here.
So here's a character that works really well. It's, of course, what's her name from that one show?
Yes.
And there she is. I don't know why
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, thank you.
I had to think about it for a
If
second.
Scott Solo was with us, we would know.
My daughter-in-law would be so angry with me if I forgot her name.
I love Star Wars, but I'm not necessarily all the way up on the newer films, and I'd still enjoy it here. I complain a lot because I think it could all be better, but I really love it. I do.
I would say, it's great, but I think any of this, you change it up and it's going to be better because it's going to be something different, right?
I'm going to show you something that makes you realize why this land just needs a little more color, a little more life. But there's one of those pink trumpet flower trees over here, and that color draws you in because it's the one spot of color
Right?
in this land, and it's so needed. And you see it here, and it makes you happy. And I think they just need a little more happy in this land.
I agree.
There it is. Hello, happy tree. Right up here is where we watched the Fires of the Rising Moon and the Skywalker Saga projection show. From right around here, the railing, they have a special dessert party ticket thing that you buy, and then you get to stand over here. It's a great spot.
It is.
But if you don't want to pay extra, you know what else is a great spot?
Right down here in front.
here.
Yeah.
Right where we are down here is also a great spot. You just need to show up about 30 to 45 minutes early. I think now that most of the bloggers and everybody have seen the show, it's not as crazy to get a spot, but this is it. The whole
Right.
viewing area is really from this bridge, and then around through this area, they block off an area in front of the Millennium Falcon for fire safety. So really not that many people fit in this area.
No.
So they generally do the show more than one time a night. But if you want to see the fireworks, they just do it once a night, and you really do need to show up early for that. I'd say at least an
You
hour.
do. Yeah. Now, the one thing I do notice about that projection show, from where we were standing when we saw it the first time, was a great spot. But I kind of think that standing on the ground level, you're looking up and you're surrounded by the story.
Yes.
And I think that would give it a little bit extra.
A lot of people were wondering why they didn't do the projections during the fireworks. And
Oh, no.
Because even on regular nights, they could do that projection show without the fireworks. The
Yeah.
reason is everybody would want to watch the fireworks with projections in that one spot. It would be chaos. And so by separating them out and having separate projection shows and fireworks shows, kind of spread out the experience and have, some people will decide
Well, and really, it gives you two different stories.
Yes.
And again, it's more entertainment, so it's spread out instead of putting it all in one spot.
Yep.
At one time.
And Jason said that he thinks Galaxy's Edge is his favorite part of the park to just sit and chill. If you can find a good spot to sit, that's true. If you can find a spot in the shade, there along that path between Rise of the Resistance and the marketplace, there are some benches now. That's a nice spot. I wish that they would put more benches in little alcoves like this. They do have a couple of tables set up there now.
Which weren't there before.
Food, right, you can grab some food and go stand at one of those tables. But there needs to be more, maybe carve a little alcove, like a little pathway back in there with a few tables or something.
Could you imagine if they did right in this area the same thing they did in Cars Land?
Yep.
To some degree,
exactly.
yeah.
Like back into here, maybe even on the other side, have a little bit of seating. The problem with Galaxy's Edge is the Imagineers immediately start screaming, no, it breaks the storyline to have benches or tables. Which is why as soon as you get into the tunnel, for people that are passing out in the land from the heat, benches.
I'm sorry, but it breaks my feet to walk around without benches and tables.
Because you're no longer at Galaxy's Edge once you get in here, and they used to even have merchandise. They still do have some merchandise.
They do.
Here in the tunnel.
Which is funny because it's Star Wars merchandise that is now in Frontierland.
Star Wars merchandise, which is not up to the standard of the land, so they can sell it just before you get into the land, and you can take it into the land with you.
Yeah.
They just can't, for some reason, sell it in there because it's too on the nose with the Star Wars lettering. So if it says Star Wars on it, they're not supposed to sell it in the land, but they can sell it to you outside the land, and then you can take it into the land.
Now I understand what you're saying, because it actually says Star Wars.
Right, it says Star Wars. But you're in a Star Wars land, just sell the freaking merchandise. We all know we're in a theme park. There is not one person that walks through that tunnel and thinks, oh my God, I just teleported to another land.
That'll be 5 credits, sir.
Exactly, it makes me angry.
Multi-pass.
And that's where Universal is really kicking Disney's ass, because they just know how to deliver to people
Definitely
what they want.
I tell you, I cannot wait to go to see Epic Universe.
Right down to not letting people know where Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is.
Yeah.
All the signs point out, none of them point in. There are no signs around here anywhere that point you to the land, which is silly because you're inside Disneyland. So basically they're saying that if you're in Disneyland, you shouldn't know that Star Wars exists. And if you're in the land, you shouldn't know that Disneyland exists. Well, you know what, then you should have built it elsewhere.
I was standing right over here earlier talking with one of the security officers earlier today. And I mean, here we are, what, 20 steps to Star Wars Land?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many people walked up, asked, excuse me, where's Star Wars Land?
Exactly. There was a custodian that we know that was there sweeping one day, and I said to her, a guest came up and said, where's Star Wars Land? And she pointed and she said, you're just a few steps away.
Yeah.
And I said, I bet that happens all day. She says, it happens every minute.
Oh my goodness.
So why they don't just put the sign in, which
Right.
is silly. It's on the park map.
Exactly.
If you bring it up on your phone, you can see it. That's okay. But for some reason, it's not okay to put the sign up in the park. Ridiculous.
I don't think it doesn't hurt the storyline to put a sign.
There's a new park president for Disneyland, and oh, how I wish I could just walk the park with him and point out the 50 obvious changes that they have to make. Red Rose Tavern, remember when this was Village Haas and they promised that this was just a short-term overlay? Well, it has remained Red Rose Tavern
I miss
ever
Village
since.
House.
But Pinocchio themed, and who cares about that anymore when...
They haven't even upgraded them yet. Everything else in this...
Literally everything in there was just like pasted on. Like it's
Right.
not like it was that high quality of an upgrade.
It's the only attraction that's not... Pinocchio's the only attraction that has not been upgraded, really.
Well, I have a feeling, Mike, that is for no good reason. I have a feeling Pinocchio has not been updated because they would like to eventually replace it, talk about it becoming a meet and greet or a Tangled ride. Notice that the facade is getting a little work on the outside.
Yes.
And there's,
look, there's
Belle walking through with her Ewok. We're just about at the end of our journey, folks. I think we're going to take you through the castle and enjoy that. last view down
have-
Main Street, USA.
We have one other thing to talk about.
Yes.
It's a small world.
That's true. It's a small world, still down. We're not going to walk you all the way back there because
No.
it'll take too long. But Small World was supposed to be returning this week or next week, but they pushed it out till next month. So they needed a few extra weeks to work on some of the various projects going on inside the ride.
Yep.
They are installing a couple of new figures from Coco. They're also preparing to turn on a new final song.
Yeah.
So we believe in that last room that you'll be hearing a new final verse to It's a Small World that Richard Sherman wrote before he died. Really kind of ties up the song in a very sentimental final refrain. Because we had wondered how are they going to work it into the ride itself? Would they have to re-record the music from the entire ride? We think they're just recording the new bit to place in that final room.
Oh.
Which would make more sense because there's
It would.
sort of a room in between the America section, which is
Right.
like a transition with just the music and not the lyrics, and
Yep.
then you'll hear the final, like they do at Christmas time.
Now, one other thing to note too is the construction walls have changed again. They
In
now
front of the ride.
in front of the ride, and there is that path, that hidden path that starts at Storybook Land Boats, Canal Boats, that runs to just behind the Fantasy Fair gifts. That whole walkway is completely blocked off, and the construction walls end at the old ticket booth.
Interesting.
But Fantasy Fair gifts is still open. It's a Small World toy shop is open, but there's construction walls obviously surrounding that as well because it's.
I thought we would just take a moment here to look at the lagoon and see the swans. they're geese, but they're swans for us today. Have you ever noticed these wonderful little squirrel rain
Yes.
spouts? Those great.
Those are awesome.
And then a version of the Walt Disney Family Crest, of course, the version in the window of his Woking Way home, his 1930s estate that he helped build. It's a different crest, similar with lions and a shield and filigree. Look how pretty the castle's looking, Mike.
It's
All
beautiful.
the gold spires. And we're going to see some new things on the castle soon, some new flags and bunting to get ready for Disneyland's 70th anniversary, which starts next month, middle of next month. So
coming up
we're
quick.
really, as the days go on now, we're going to see more and more of this change as they get ready for the 70th anniversary. I'm turning this around because we're here at Disneyland. For those of you who caught us midway, this is the original Disney theme park here in Anaheim, California. We've written some articles in the last couple of days about Disneyland Paris, which is getting, well, they're retheming their second park. So what is their DCA is becoming Disney Adventure World with a Frozen world and a new Lion King land, a new lagoon with a lagoon show, a couple of small spinner rides. Their downtown Disney, which is called Disney Village, is getting some new restaurants, and they're retheming two of their hotels. So a lot of work going on there. And today we ran an article about Hong Kong Disneyland, which is about to celebrate its 20th anniversary, 20 years for
Wow,
Hong
already?
Kong Disneyland. But here at Disneyland, we don't have much new coming other than a Walt Disney animatronic, our 70th anniversary celebration, and over at California Adventure, of course, some new Avengers rides coming. Eventually, we will get an Avatar ride as well as a Coco ride. And that just makes me, Natalie, well, it makes my head spin.
Oh no.
And it's not just my head that's spinning because, well, I'm spinning out of control. I'm spinning out of control, Natalie. I'm glad that you all were with us. Mike, Jeffrey, Ando, and Natalie, thank you for joining us, everyone. We hope you had a great journey with us here at Disneyland. Be sure to leave some comments and share our live video with your family and friends. Bye. I'm still spinning because I haven't hit the button.